look at each person's sentences and just talk about whether they effectively, use the word, and you can copy this sentence. You can make your own as long as you understand what the word means. So Julia, go ahead.
Today we brainstormed about how much fun the field trip would be.
Oh, where's the field trip going?
Chapin Forest.
Where, sorry?
Chapin Forest.
How do you spell that? You can type. Go ahead. Right here. Good. Okay, so that little detail, Julia, makes your sentence better, right? Is it forest, like EST, probably?
Yes.
Yeah, like that, right? Okay. We brainstormed about how much fun. Okay, so thinking about something hard. Yeah, you can brainstorm about something like that. Usually, Julia, though, you brainstorm something that you have to, how do I put this? Do that's like difficult, right? I think a better word here would be like imagined. Now, it's not entirely wrong. I'm not going to say that it's wrong. You could use it like that. But most of the time that you're going to see brainstorm, you're going to see that it's because people are thinking of like what they have to do, not like what could be, right? It's a little bit more specific, but it's okay. You used it properly and the sentence was very good. And just adding this detail, sometimes if you think about a question like who or what or where or when, it can make the sentence a little bit better. Okay, so by adding this where answer to this forest, it makes it a better sentence. Good. Next one, flattened. Julia, go ahead.
We flattened the clay so it will be smooth enough to make a clay pizza.
Alrighty. Good. Okay, so you included like the smooth enough part in here in the sentence to make it work. Excellent. Thank you. Ethan, you're next. Where are you? Ethan. All right. Let's hear yours. Frantically. Ethan, can you, yeah, go ahead.
I frantically worked on my Lego project yesterday.
Okay. What was your Lego project about? Can you describe it in any way? Can you make me see something?
An F-22 Raptor.
Okay. So why don't you put right here where I am, put F-22 Raptor Lego project. That's going to be much better. Where my cursor is, yeah. Okay, I think you have to do that. Good. Why did you work on it frantically? Why was it frantic?
Because the Lego competition is tomorrow.
Oh, I frantically worked on my F-22 Raptor Lego project yesterday as our competition is coming up soon, even is fine. Okay. What you wrote is perfectly fine, Ethan. I'm just trying to show you how sometimes adding a little bit more detail makes your sentences better. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your next one means is gracious, and we talked about it meaning kind, friendly, not so much pretty. This isn't right. Do you know this word, courteous? Like
No?
welcoming? No? If someone is gracious, like when you go to their house, if they're being gracious, that means they're like welcoming you. They're being like kind and friendly and courteous. They have manners, things like that. Okay, so you want to come up with a sentence and we'll come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Susan, you're next.
The boy
Muttered. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
The boy muttered words to itself, trying not to let other people hear.
Mm. Where was this happening?
I just made it up.
I know you just made it up, so why don't you make up where it's happening too?
Um,
And you wouldn't say,
it
by the way,
was
Susan, sorry, Susan, you wouldn't say itself, right? What word would you use here? Not
himself.
itself, himself.
himself.
Yes,
What?
I'll just accept that for you. So where was this happening, Susan?
It was at a park where someone was saying mean words to him.
Oh, now you're painting a picture. While at the park, what's the boy's name?
The boy's name is I'll just do a random one. Bob.
Sure.
Bob.
Bob muttered words to himself, trying not to let other people hear. Okay. So that's because he was being bullied. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can say instead of other people. Okay, maybe you can say that. Now read your sentence.
The principal was making.
No, sorry. Now read the muttered sentence.
While at the park, Bob muttered words to himself, trying not to let the bullies playing around him hear.
What did I add to your sentence?
You added Bob and while at the park, Bob.
So I added where.
Yeah.
I added who. And I added another who, basically, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit of like, what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everybody learn from this? You add a little bit of these details, your sentences become much better. Okay. Susan, next one, official.
Okay.
So I'm want you to all understand you're using the words properly. Okay. However, the sentence can get better. Go ahead.
The principal is making official announcements.
About what?
About maybe about.
Let's make it one official announcement. Okay. So making an official announcement about
the school store tomorrow where everybody will need to remember their money or not
remembering to bring money for to spend at the school store. Much better. Susan, do you think that you can do this by yourself?
Maybe.
Yeah, the answer is yes. Of course you can.
Yes.
I didn't use any big words or any fancy kind of writing style. All I'm doing is adding a little bit more detail. Okay? And that's what you need to learn to do to be a better writer a lot of times. Okay? Is adding a little bit more detail makes your writing better. This doesn't have to happen with every single one of your sentences, everyone. Okay? What I'm trying to show you though is that it's very easy to add more detail when you need it. Okay? All right, last one is Iris. So original. Iris, can you read your sentence, please?
These nachos are very original.
The cheese nachos are very original. What do you mean by that they're original?
That they're really popular.
Popular, but what does original mean? You didn't put all of the meanings here. Remember, one of the things I said was oops. Let me do this. Remember what I said was one of a kind is a good meaning for original. That means there's nothing else like it. So you could say that the cheese nachos are original, but why? Because what were on them that made them original?
Because everyone in the town liked them.
That doesn't make it original though. What makes them original or one of a kind? Unique. You don't see any of them like that anywhere else. Watch this. All right, now they're original because nobody puts marshmallows on cheese nachos. Okay, Iris, do you understand why that original works now more?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so something that's original, you don't see it very much or at all anywhere else. Okay. And then we're going to put at the party. That's where you saw these cheese nachos. Okay, stale. You gave me a sentence that you're not using the word incorrectly. You were right. The bread just became stale. But, you know, you can do a little bit better than this. Why did it become stale? Where was this bread?
The bread was at someone's home.
Yeah, but I don't want to write the bread at someone's home. Whose home?
My home.
Okay, I just typed your grandma's home just because I wanted to get something. Why did it become stale?
Because my grandma bought it a long time ago.
Okay. She bought it a long time ago and forgot to and forgot it in her car. Okay, everybody, I hope you're learning something here. Okay, I know that you're able to write sentences. The words that we did, we took them up. You know what they meant. We looked at two sentences, but when I asked you to write sentences of your own, I think everybody learned that you can make a sentence much better just by adding a little bit of details. Okay, think about who, where, when, why, how, and add a little bit of that in your sentence. Think about some imagery, paint a picture, let us see something. That makes a sentence better. Okay, so I hope everybody learned something from that. Good work. As I said, next week we'll talk about parts of speech. That's not something we're going to do today. Does anybody know what that means though? I'm just curious. Part of speech. Has anybody ever learned that in school yet? I bet you every one of you has, because if I ask you, have you ever heard of a noun? Yes, Julie, have you heard the word noun before?
I've heard it before, but I never knew what it meant.
A noun? What about a verb?
I heard it before, but I didn't exactly study.
Okay. Okay. Parts of speech just talks about noun, verb, adjective, adverb. Maybe you've heard of those in school, maybe you haven't. Okay, we're going to talk about those in a future lesson, okay? All right, we're going to move on to something that you're going to do for homework. So before we do that, before I give you the instructions, we're going to look at something together. So just a second. Okay. So this is your homework lesson. It's called Introduction to Writing and Homework Assignment. Okay, it's under today's date in the classroom. Okay. The first thing we're going to look at is this. All of you are taking this class because your parents and you, of course, want you to be a better writer. Okay. So there's lots of ways you can become a better writer. There's not only one or two or three ways, but here's a few of them. Julia, can you read the first one?
Wait, I'm not in there.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Do you see what it? So do you see the first one that's in green? Keep
Yeah, keep reading.
reading.
One of the best ways to learn about writing is to read. I love reading so naturally. I like to write.
Okay, anybody who writes well reads. They go together. That's why in this class, you see reading and writing is what we're going to do all the time. They go together. You can't be a good writer unless you read too. Okay, so one of the best ways to learn about writing is to read. Thank you. Next one, Ethan.
Make writing fun. At home, write in the journal about anything or everything. Try writing poems, stories, or even a TV script.
Ooh,
Find a pen pal.
you know what a pen pal is, Ethan?
A thing that holds your pens.
No, it sounds like that, eh? Does anybody know what a pen pal is? Iris, what's a pen pal?
Like someone you write to.
Someone who you write to that maybe you could know them, or maybe you don't know them too well. Maybe it's somebody you meet somewhere once on a vacation, like Iris is on the beach over there in her vacation picture. Okay, and she meets a friend and she becomes a pen pal. Anyway, the point of all of this is that you make writing fun. It doesn't always have to be for school. Okay, if all the writing you do is always for school, then it's maybe not going to be as much fun. Okay, but there's lots of writing you can do by yourself that can make it fun. Susan, last thing that's there.
Play with words. English overflows with dazzling words. Enjoy them. All was a shake and a shiver. Glints and gleams and sparkles. Rustle and swirl, chatter and bubble.
Okay, so there's a little bit of from a poem. Okay, so having fun with words is another way of becoming a better writer. Words can be, you're in control of what words you pick and how you use them, and as you get more experienced, you should have fun with them. Okay. When you were received your paragraph last week, you maybe noticed, oops, sorry, 1 second. Actually, we're going to talk about this next. Never mind. Okay, here are the steps in the writing process, okay? This is a document that we're going to look at more than just today. Okay, you can see that there's 5 steps. Okay, the last step is really an easy step. You're just finishing it by submitting it to your teacher, or in this case, like turning it in on the Google Classroom. Okay, but the previous 4 steps are important. Step 1, Julia, pre-write. What is that about?
At the beginning of the process, the writer chooses a topic, gathers details about it, and makes a plan to organize the details.
Thank you. Okay, so you don't just start writing. You have to organize a little bit. You have to think a little bit before you write. Did you all do that before you wrote your paragraph last week? Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you didn't. If you didn't, think about that. Sorry?
Yes.
Okay. The next one, Ethan, is write. I know that sounds obvious, but what does write mean?
Right. Creating the first draft is the exciting step of getting the ideas on paper.
Okay, so that's your first draft. That's not your last draft. That's not the final copy. It's your first draft. Okay, because the next step has to happen. Susan, revise. What is revise all about?
Revise. After reviewing the first draft, the writer can add new details, delete ideas that don't belong, and change parts that aren't clear.
Good. Okay, so when you revise, you fix. That's what you're doing when you revise. You're fixing. Okay, and edit is also fixing. Iris, what is editing all about?
Edit. Next, the writer looks over the revised writing for mistakes in capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and grammar.
Good. Okay, and we're going to talk about all of those things as we go along in this class. I can't cover all of the rules for capitalizing and punctuation and spelling all together in one lesson, right? That's going to take time. but you have to do your best to fix it yourself. Okay, so on your paragraphs that you submitted to me, I always correct your writing. So if you made mistakes with capitals or commas or spelling, I would have told you. Okay, so you need to look at that. The final step, of course, is publish. That means you share it. All right, this is going to be your work, everyone. Okay, you are going to first, so this is the pre-writing. You all have a copy of this, your own copy. You are going to pick activities that you enjoy, 4 of them. You're not going to pick, you're going to list. I'm sorry, is the word I meant. Okay, these activities could be anything. Okay, and you are writing a how-to paragraph. So what that means is you're writing a paragraph on how to do something. Okay, so your paragraph, your ideas here need to be good enough so that you can write a how-to. You can tell me how you do it. Okay, so you're picking the activity, just one, not 4. You're only picking one after that you want to write about and describe in an original way. And this is going to be your topic sentence. Okay, so what's the activity you're choosing? How would you describe it? Okay, this is all part of your pre-writing. Okay, then you're using this chart. Okay, you're filling it in order to list the main steps in your activity. And these will be the body sentences of your paragraph. So when you do this activity, first thing you do is what? Then what do you, next, what do you do? Then what do you do? Then what do you do? And finally, or lastly, what do you do? Okay, you're making it like a, this is how I do what I enjoy doing. Okay, you're making it like a how-to paragraph. Okay, so when you put all your ideas together, your paragraph, you're going to type it in this box. Okay, and you're going to write your paragraph in the box or table next and submit it. Okay, is that clear enough? Does anybody have any questions about what the project is, what the assignment is? You're writing one paragraph about one activity you like to do. Here, you're just listing 4 of them just to brainstorm, but you're only going to pick one. Okay? The last thing I want to tell you about is before we submit your work, you submit your work, you need to look at these goals. Okay, so this is how you're going to be marked. If you noticed last time I gave you, there was a rubric I posted to the classroom. You're going to be marked on your ideas, your organization, your voice, your word choice, your fluency, sentence fluency, and the conventions. Okay, so what each of those means is right there. I want you to use the classroom and open this and read it to yourself. It's not hard to understand what all of those means. And just ask yourself, did I do all of this? It's a way of helping you be focused.